after an exciting game week 10. Game week 11 is almost upon us as FPL managers, and I know most of us are getting our team set. Others are thinking about captaincy, choice. Some are thinking of whether to use chips or not. Just know in this video, we got you. We'll break down certain key things you need to look at. We'll give you tips, ideas, and we'll break down how the fixtures are looking and how they can influence us as FPL managers. So I would like you to kindly share the video, subscribe. Let's grow the channel together. Leave a comment as well. Let's know what your plans are heading into game week 11. So let's begin. Game week 11 comes in very hot. We have Spurs taking on Man U, first match of the round, followed by Everton, Fulham taking on Fulham. We have West Ham, Burnley, Sunderland, Arsenal. Then it ends with Chelsea taking on Wolves. Then on Sunday, we have Aston Villa taking on Bournemouth, Brentford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Hove Albion. Then we have Nottingham Forest taking on Leeds. Then we end the round with another hot fixture, that is City taking on Liverpool. So in this round, in this game week, we have tough fixtures starting and ending. So it's going to be very interesting. We hope both matches can provide a lot of returns for managers that have players from such teams. So that is how the fixtures are looking. So let's look at the player stats, how the players have been faring over the past few game weeks and what to look out for. So players in form, of course, we have Gabriel leading the charts. He's been there for a while now. Then we have followed by Mateta. We have Haaland in a mix there as well. We have Casemiro. Last week he provided some good returns for most managers. We have Mbuebo, we have Rhys James, Welbeck, Van de Ven, Rice, we have Neto. So quite some few good players there. Then when it comes to the selected, most selected, if you are really out of ideas, you look at players in form, players who have been selected a lot by most managers. And for this one, we have Haaland, we have Semenyo, we have Gabriel, and a few others. Why mostly I don't really want you to look at the most selected, because even though they are the most selected, sometimes we have some hidden gems somewhere who could easily just come out and be a star in your team. So if for the last game week you had a Casemiro in your team, he was amongst the least selected, but you would have good returns. So you always want to be very diplomatic with your selections, even though you have good players in form. So these are the players in form. When it comes to the most selected, you just look at a few constants and you pick them. Then you go for the ones that are slightly cheaper and are providing the returns, and you should be good to go. You should be good to go. So if it comes to influence, you could look at all of this players providing influence in matches. These are the players who are most likely to score, give an assist. Others are always going to be on the beginning of every move, so they might start the whole play, and they might not get so many points, but at the end of the day, you would hope for the best creativity to a very good one to look out. But I think influence should be the most, then followed by threat. So after influence, you want to look at threats before you go to creativity. Creativity in the sense that that's what I was explaining, that most of the times they begin the whole play. So they might not be at the end of the goal. They might not be the ones to give the assist, but they will begin the whole thing. But when it comes to threats, when it comes to influence, you'd see them in the mix there, either a goal or an assist, or they provided something crucial. So players with high ratings there are most likely to really be of value to you. And sometimes it doesn't work all the way, but as I said, some players. So you would want to also consider players in such domains. Just a few can get your team sets, or would make your most selected players, as if you are going for most selected players, would make your decision solid for you, that you know that at least you are doing something right. So heading into it, let's see the most transferred in. We have Mateta leading the charts, followed by Rice, Declan Rice. We have Casiado, we have Gabriel, we have Joao Pedro, we have Mbuebo, and a few others there as well. Ismail Assar, very good performance midweek. Haaland, good performance midweek. Arsenal were solid as usual. So, of course, just a tip, you should have Arsenal players heading into this round because they look like they can't be stopped now. So why not go for them now before things turn around and they find themselves in hot waters. So most transferred out, Kudus is leading the charge, Jokeres, we have Renders, we have Voltamed. So these players are struggling. Some are struggling, some are not really providing the returns. Some managers feel it's time to really change their set because they might not have the returns they need. So you'd want to consider all these things most transferred in. So this is how it's looking most transferred out. So you could have a few of this or that in your team and you should be good to go. So that's how it's looking for the player stats. Very important to look at that. Then the fixture difficulty rating. So for the next 2 to 3 game weeks, if you decide to use your wild card, what should you be looking at? Should you be looking at a team that would be able to take you 2 or 3 game weeks? That is, if I use my wild card this week, will the Arsenal players be able to take me for at least 2 or 3 game weeks? It's a question to ask yourself because you look at Arsenal now, they take on Sunderland, followed by Tottenham Hotspurs, then Chelsea. Even though this Arsenal team are in good form, I think they've not conceded in all tournaments over the last 5 or 6 matches. They've not considered a single goal. So it's something very good. But you would want to ask yourself, can they continue with this run as they take on Sunderland, as they take on Tottenham Hotspur, as they take on Chelsea, as they take on Brentford? These are teams that have been very stubborn this season. So would they be able to take on teams like that and without conceding a goal or losing? So there's a question to really ask. We have Aston Villa who are beginning to pick up form. They take on Bournemouth, Leeds, Wolves. So it looks like a good run. So you could, for now, start considering Aston Villa players in the mix there about Bournemouth players as well because they have Aston Villa, West Ham, Sunderland. So it looks okay for them. Bedford to have a good run coming in. So 1 or 2 players wouldn't really hurt. That's if you decide to use a wild card. Then you have Brighton and Hove Albion to have a good run coming. Burnley have a good run, but for a newly promoted team, it could be quite tricky. So you'd want to consider that Chelsea to have a good run coming up. So you'd also want to consider a few players there. Cancelo, you'd want to consider. I think now Joao Pedro has been, if I'm right, if I stand corrected, I stand to be corrected because over the midweek he was played in a different position. We are still yet to get the most from him, so I don't know whether the lap would be ready now. If he's not, you would still be wondering how things will go because very soon you would have Palmer coming back, so it could change the whole team dynamic. I hope, and we could see a different team coming up. So you'd also want to consider a few Chelsea players and see how that goes as well. Then we have Crystal Palace. They have a good run coming up as well. Everton, not an okay set of fixtures coming up. It could get tricky for them, so you'd want to be very diplomatic with them. Fulham to have an okay set of fixtures coming up, so you also want to be diplomatic. Leeds United, just watch it here and there, but you want to be very cautious. And as I said last week in my video, after this, as I said in my post analysis video, after this match for Liverpool have a good set coming up. So you should consider having some Liverpool players. You could have a Gapo, you could have a Salah. Let's see how it goes for them. Higo Ekitike too, you could have him in the mix. Very solid run. City have some 2 tricky fixtures coming up, after which they have a very good set of run coming up. So you could just keep Haaland. If you have him, keep him. It's not There's not a time to sell him. And now that they are over dependent on him, you expect that if anything should come up or if any goal should come up, you would want to have him in the mix thereabout. Manchester United have a tricky set coming. Not so much after the Tottenham Hotspur match. They have a good run coming. But the question is, can they continue with their newly found form? Let's see how that goes. Then we have Newcastle. They have quite some tricky fixtures coming up. Nottingham Forest to have tricky sets because now you don't really know whether they are back or they are still picking up pace. So you'd want to be diplomatic with them. Spurs have a difficult set or a tricky set coming up, so you want to be very diplomatic. Sunderland have a difficult set, so you want to watch that. West Ham are still struggling to find their form, so let's see whether that can be consistent. So you want to also consider that Wolves also have a tricky set coming up. So all in all, it looks like you should be looking at considering some Liverpool players, some Crystal Palace players, some Chelsea players, some Brighton Hove Albion players, Bedford players, Bournemouth players, Arsenal players, and even some Aston Villa players. So that's how it's looking like. So you'd want to see whether you can get some Gabriel in your team, whether you can have a Declan Rice in your team, whether you can have a Morgan Rogers in your team, whether Semenyo will be a good option for you. If you feel he's not really going to be a good option, you have Say to be a good differential in your defense. You have Thiago from Brentford as a good option for your forward. You have Minte from Brighton to be a good differential in your team. You would also have Mitoma, who could be a good differential in your team. You have Chelsea, you could have Caicedo, you could have Enzo Fernandez. And let's see how Kopama picks up his form. You could also have a Rhys James from Chelsea. Then you could be looking at, you could be eyeing an Ismail Assar from Crystal Palace, Mateta from Crystal Palace, Munez from Crystal Palace. So one each could get you your team set. You could also be looking at Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham, hoping to give you the goods. Capo from Liverpool, you could be looking at Salah from Liverpool as well. Of course, keep your Haaland. He's going to he looks like he can't be stopped. So you should most definitely have him, and let's see how it goes as well. So that's how it's looking for the FDR. So you would want to also consider that heading into the fixtures. Then last of all, we go into the team review. So as I've said, time and time again, I'm focusing on differentials for the first half of the season, after which the second half I'm going to try different principles. I just want to show you that it works. Sometimes for the last game week, for instance, it didn't work at all for me, and I'm okay with that because I know that is my choice and I accept that, and I am looking to see how it helps me in the subsequent game weeks. So for my team, this game week, this is how my team is looking. I haven't made any transfer. I would want to get an additional transfer. So this is how my team is looking. I have Raya, I have Gabriel Corsa, I have Munez, Grealish, Saka, and Buebo, Semenyo, Thiago, I have Mateta, I still have Voltamed. Then my bench looks very weak, but this is how my team is looking heading into game week 11. I hope for the best. I hope my differentials work. Let me also know what you are doing different. I'm keeping my captaincy option. I'm giving it to Gabriel. Let's see how it goes. If they can continue with their clean sheets, and if he can also provide an assist or a goal from a set piece, that is going to be a plus to me as well. So I'm trying something different. But if you are really not too sure who to captain, you could consider Haaland. It looks like he's in good form there. He's here to provide the goods. So you could look at Haaland, even though they are taking on this Liverpool team, you could still consider him because Haaland has been quite difficult to stop this game week or this season, and Liverpool are still struggling, and they take on this City team at home at Etihad. They are going to try to be solid, so you could most definitely go for an Arsenal for a captaincy option, or you could consider Declan Rice. Looks like this game week most managers are looking to him, so he could be a differential option for captaincy for you if you feel like he would help. Then if you just want things different, you could consider Mateta from Crystal Palace as a captaincy option, and you should be good to go. And with the chips, I feel, as I've said, you have about 8 or 7 game weeks before the first half of the season goes. So if your team is just not working out for you, from next game week, you know you have a good set of fixtures for some teams. So you could wait after this game week, just use your wild card, get everything set. After a few game weeks when things are looking very good for you, you use your bench boost as a plus to get you ahead in that game week. So you could look at game week about 13 thereabouts, use your wild card, and you should be good to go. Then you'd want to hold on to your, as I've said, your free hits until December when the fixtures are coming in a lot. Then you just use it once and you should be good to go. So in the mix thereabouts, whenever you feel very good, you could always use your triple captain in a match where the home team are they are playing at home or the home team is in good form. So if you have an Arsenal at home taking on a very weak side, you would want to consider one or two players. If you have Haaland taking on a very weak side at home, you'd want to consider triple captaining him during that game. Again, you should be good to go. So let's see how things go. We hope for an exciting round. Subscribe, like, share. Let's get interactive. We are out.